Hi everyone, Lisa here from LC Designs. Welcome to Fun Fold Friday, June 19th, 2026. June is like flying by. Thank you for joining me in my craft room. I come to you every Friday at 12 o'clock with a pre-recorded video showing you how to do a fun fold card. I haven't figured out how to do a fun fold 3D project yet. Maybe I'll try and figure that out. I know how to make a flat fold box, but usually I do a card for you. So if you're on my email list, you would have got today's, it's not a tutorial, it has the products that I use and then it has all the measurements. I don't give you the step-by-step instructions because I'm going to show you how to do it in the video. So there's always the measurements there, and then you can scan the QR code to shop for the products. And I've listed everything for you. That way you don't have to go look up the item numbers or what it's called. I already have done the work for you. So again, if you're on my email list, you got this morning. If not, you can join my email list. But in the video, I'll let you have a chance to screenshot the measurements. And because it's June, we have a new product of the month, which is the Wild Bunch stamp set. So when you spend $75 in my online store, you qualify for the product of the month where you pay $5. And this is a stamp set this month. And I will send you, when you do that, I'll send you a tutorial with 12 projects showing you how to use your product of the month. This one was last month's. We're still working on this month's because all of us have to get that product of the month in our hands so we could create our project. So there's 6 demonstrators, including I'm the 6th one. There's 5 others, and we each give you 2 projects. All right, I think that is it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so thank you again for joining me for Fun Fold Friday. This is this week's card, and we're actually going to do some heat embossing. If you have never done heat embossing, I'm going to show you. It always adds a fun little wow factor. It's raised sentiment. Even though our sentiment is small, we're going to do some heat embossing. So let me show you everything that we're going to be using. We're using the Lovely Arrangements bundle. This is the bundle. And we're only using the sentiment and then these leaves and then the die to cut the leaves. And then we're using the Scallop Blooms die, and we're using the 3rd and the 4th to the smallest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these 2, I think. And that's what we're going to be using for our flowers, but we're going to dry emboss them. So this is dry embossing when you use an embossing folder. And we're going to dry emboss them with these, the sunflower embossing folder. And we're going to use this Valley and the Bloom Designer Series paper. Some pretty paper. I've already used quite a bit of this, and I have my patterns pulled out. I think we're using this one and then the back side of that one. But this is nice too. So we are using that, and we are going to be using Granny Apple Green cardstock for our card base, and then we're going to be using some basic white to do our stamping and our flowers. And we're using Berry Burst ribbon, and I chose Berry Burst because that was the closest to Blackberry Bliss, and I probably could have did Berry Burst because but Blackberry Bliss is the color in the Designer Series paper. So I mean, I think it's a good match. And then we're going to use the shimmering dots for our embellishments. And I'm also going to show you a little bit of blending. So you'll need a blending brush and our ink. So let's get started. with our card base of, now that I have everything all over the place, because again, we're going to do some heat embossing. Here is my measurements, and you can take a screenshot if you're on my email list. You received this morning. And so we're going to start out with the 5.5 by 8.5 Granny Green cardstock. I'm not sure what this piece measures. I just pulled from my scraps, and I'm hoping, yep, it's our 5.5 by 8.5. And now this one we're going to score at 2 1/8, and then 4 1/4. And that will be your card base. So let me move this other out of the way, and let's get our designer series paper cut. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 on this floral pattern. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So the 2 lines just before the half is the 5 3/8. And then the 4 1/8 is just 2 lines after the 4. All right, I always like to do those 1/8 inch borders. That's just me. And then for our inside, we're going to need 3 by 4. So let's go 3 by 4. And this is basic white. And as it says here, I don't have it in my picture. I forgot to add it before I took the picture. So then we're going to need a 2 inch of this one. I call this the cross pattern. 2 inches by 5 3/8, 2 before the half. Okay, and then the rest are for the flowers and sentiment, and so we don't really need to cut those, but I always just give you an idea of what size piece that you're going to need. So let's get our cut and emboss, and we are going to be using the 3rd and the 4th to the smallest scalloped blooms dies. And so we're cutting those out of basic white. I probably should have stamped my leaves, and we could have die cut those. But we're gonna get these guys off. Let me go ahead and stamp the leaves real quick, and we can die cut those since those are here. And we're going to be using Granny Apple Green for, where are my, here's my leaves. So we're going to stamp these twice. Now I'm going to use my foam pad. I have stuff all over everything. I like to use my foam pad just to get a nice, crisp, clean stamp. And so we're going to do those twice. And then die cut those with our die. So again, this is the die from the lovely arrangements in the stamp set. The other dies were the scallop blooms. So did you know this, let me see, this little circle here, see the Granny Apple Green? So you want to see that, well, let me get it lined up again. You want to see that in there. See, if you see the white, you know you're not lined up. That's what that little hole is there for, to let you know that, you know, you're either lined up or you're not. So you want to see that down there. Just a tip for you, because sometimes we don't realize those skinny little portions of our die. Okay, come on. And then, so again, let me show you maybe a little closer. You want to see that granny apple green right in that circle. If it's over and you're seeing the white, well then you know you're not on there. So again, just a little tip on how to make sure that your dies are lined up correctly. Now I'm giving you the advice and I'm like, is mine lined up? Yes, I see the granny apple green in there. And that is that one. Let's get that. I think we got our die cutting. Well, nope. I'm going to use this. Since I have it out, we are going to emboss our flowers. So with the 3D embossing folder, you need the plate number 1 and the plate number 4. And that's it. So on these scallop, let me move this for a second so I can show you. So I'm going to put the big one right on this big sunflower. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This smaller one, I'm going to get the majority of this, like so. All right. Just like, and so see, you could already see where your pattern's going to be on your flower. So again, plate number 1 and seam side in, and plate number 4. And these are on the 3D. This one is a 3D embossing folder. If it was just a regular one, you would use the clear plate as well. Okay, let's get this out of the way. This one over here. Now there's our flowers. See, just a little different texture to the flower. So now we're gonna add some color because I wanted to add color. This is my yucky piece of scrap paper. You can see I use it. So we're just gonna, so when you do blending, usually grab the ink from around the edges because that's where most of the ink is, because every time we stamp, we're always stamping in the center. So just another tip. I'm sure I've added, and then we always want to blend off because look at all that ink, and especially since I was showing you. And then we'll just blend on, and I'm only kind of doing the center of as I get the edge, but we're just adding a little bit of color. I think I added a lot just because I kept tapping it, but we're going to leave our edges pretty much white, and that's it. That is all we are going to do with our blending. Okay, so now that we have all that, should we get to making the card? So this one, where is my bone folder? This will go this way, and then this one is going to fold back. Like so. That's what our card's going to look like. This is going to be like a V. Can't say it's a W because we're not going up. All right, so this piece is going to go right here. So we'll glue that. Let's make sure I have some glue here. All right, and glue that one on. We're going to glue our big piece to the inside. I use liquid glue quite a bit. I'm sure there's some of you, hold on, that like to use seal. I don't mind seal. I just like the glue C for exactly that reason. I was able to pull it up and reuse it. So here's our little 3x4 piece that goes on the inside. And just center that. And let me show you, because I had it in my measurements and I put not shown in the picture, because see in the picture, I didn't put that piece on yet. I took my picture prematurely. So just so you know, that is that piece. All right. So we got our card already. So now we are going to add our flowers with some dimensionals. Where are my dimensionals? And I am going to put this one on first. And we're only adhering these to this flap. So on this one, we're going to add our dimensionals pretty much to this side. Makes sense? And I think I grabbed a lot of dimensionals. Probably not. I probably would have used 3, but I have 4. And just kind of layer that over like so. Make sure it's not there. And let's do our berry burst. Don't you guys agree that this berry burst ribbon goes well? It's almost blackberry bliss-ish. If I could tie a bow. Blackberry bliss-ish. Is that a word? Or am I making things up? And I think this side, this needs to be a little bit bigger, and I can't get it, but that's okay. That's okay. I pulled on it and it came undone a little bit. All right, so we need a mini glue dot for this. Oh, I am getting ahead of myself again. Let's set this aside for a second because we didn't add our leaves. So with our leaves, actually the mini glue dots is what made me think of the leaves, is I'm just going to put a mini glue dot on the leaves and we're going to tuck those right inside like so. And then add another mini glue dot to this one. And we're going to tuck that one in here. Where are my dimensionals? Oops, something was sticking there. Wasn't my dimensionals. Okay, so there. Now we can go back and add our bow. Okay, my bow don't want to turn. There we go. And then now we are going to do our heat embossing. And of course, I needed to grab a piece of Blackberry Bliss. And I think we are, what is my Blackberry Bliss? This is a 1/2 inch by 2.5. So let's go 2.5. And the reason I'm trimming this one first is because we're going to heat emboss, and we don't want to really trim after we heat emboss. So it's a really thin strip because Happy Birthday is a thin stamp. So let's watch this magic work. So I always like to use my embossing buddy on my cardstock prior to stamping. It just gets all the static, so then that way your embossing powder doesn't stick to it. And my Versamark. So we're going to use Versamark. Stamp. Trying to see if my stamp is on my block right straight. And stamp. Gonna get my little tweezers here. Our embossing powder. And then we are gonna get our heat tool. and heat emboss. Have you guys ever heat emboss? Did I put a little bit more? I think I might have stamped too hard. All right, let's watch the magic begin. It's gonna get a little noisy. It's getting there. It's got to heat up a little bit. And what it is, I'm not exactly sure what the embossing powder is, but it heats up and it melts. And then it gives you this raised surface. So did you guys see it change where it melted and got raised up? I think we're done. But that is it. And I'm going to get this powder out of the way. I don't heat emboss often, but I sure do love the looks of it. So where's our card? So I definitely love the looks of it, and especially the white on a dark color. So we're just going to angle this piece, snip it. I think I did an angle on my fun fold last week too. It's funny how you just reuse your... I can't talk and work at the same time. And I think I actually put my flowers way low this time. But, so you know what? We're going to have to go like this because I really messed this one up. I didn't pay attention to where my flowers were. But that's okay. It's still fine. See, I don't know why my flowers... Or this one, I think maybe I put it more outward. But because there's more of my sentiment sitting there. But that's okay. We make things work, right? I'm gonna put this lid on. And so now let's add our shimmer dots. See, it's amazing how this embossing powder gets all over. That's probably one reason I don't do it a lot. So I'm going to use these Granny Apple Green ones. I think these are so pretty. And we'll add one here, one over here, one right in there. And again, it's because of the positioning of my flowers. And you know what? Let's add another over here. Just because they're so pretty. And that is it with our fun fold card for this week. You can see I did these a little bit darker, but you can do them as dark as you want, as light as you want. This we need to tuck over behind. But that is it. It's a quick and easy fun fold, but it is a fun fold. And I hope you enjoyed it. Aren't those flowers so pretty? You would never know those were the scallop bloom dies, right? But that's today's project. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to give me a like, a love, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Whatever you can possibly do, I appreciate it. And I will be back next Friday at 12 o'clock with another video for you. And you can always join me Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock for Workshop Wednesday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.